I'm creating a theoretical model of feudalism to help you ultimately understand capitalism, which is different. Now, okay? Very good, very good. Right, well, what do I want to say? First, what is the character of the relations of production here? The appropriation of surplus through rent. What is this I want to emphasize here is that the surplus and the necessary labor are separated in space and in time. This is the Lord's land, separate from the serf's land, held at the will of the Lord. This is the Lord's land. So this surplus labor is separated from the necessary labor in space and in time. 4 days here, 2 days here. This is very important. Separation of surplus and necessary labor. The exploitation is therefore visible. It is transparent. It is clear. It's clear to the serfs and to the Lord that the serfs are producing some surplus in exchange for holding this land, for being able to cultivate this land for their own subsistence purposes. Right? It's visible. It's clear. Exploitation. And therefore, it has to be justified. Or we say in sociology, legitimated. It has to be justified. The Lord has to justify demanding rent from the serfs. Has to justify this exploitation, appropriation of surplus. And how does the Lord justify it to the peasant? How does the Lord justify this whole system to the serf? How does the Lord justify it? Marianne. From whom?
Barbarians.
From? Barbarians. That's an interesting issue. Barbarians. Will you possibly barbarians? You might, but who else? Is it normally presented, Sam?
Other lords.
Other lords? I mean, they may be barbarians. Most lords are barbarians, right? Yes, well, no, we will not say that. But yes, it's from other, so they're protecting, because lords are always marauding and trying to thieve the serfs. So, serfs are being protected from being exploited by other lords. Isn't that funny? Yeah. But anyway, that's right, protection. That is one. The Lord is protecting his or her, well, it's his if it's a Lord, his serfs. Yes, protection from other lords. Yes. What are the ways of justifying this system? Protection. Yes, Tracy.
Provides the raw materials and the necessity for them to make their own music.
Yes, actually the Lord often will provide some sort of mill, some sort of equipment that enable the serfs to turn their crops into consumable, deliverable goods. Yes, that's right. That's another way in which, okay, I'll provide you with certain means of production so enable you to actually cultivate your crops and turn them into the basis of food. Yes, Juliana? How does that work?
Well, in patriarchal hierarchy, that leads all the way up to God,
That's an interesting. So basically, all the way up here, we finally come to God, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, there is a religious connection here. I think that the argument is in that religion, and these are all believers. The religion actually establishes the existence of different classes. Particularly, there are lords and serfs by nature. There are laws and serfs, and so we just have to accept it. One of the most interesting things about this system is that no serf ever becomes a lord. It's not like in our society where it's possible to be upwardly mobile. Serfs are serfs and lords are lords. And this separation is justified in a religious fashion, yes. And also, this system has existed from time immemorial, and therefore should continue. It's seen to be as natural and inevitable. Natural and inevitable. Yeah. It's actually... This is a footnote, a digression. But actually, under real existing feudalism, of course, these serfs did at times engage in all sorts of class struggle. And what was the struggle over? It was a struggle over how much surplus labor. The lords are always trying to get more surplus labor, and the serfs want to resist the extraction of surplus labor. So it was not always quite as harmonious a system as I'm painting here. But what is crucial about this system is that exploitation is palpable, is transparent, is visible, is clear to all. That the rent is given up, and it involves the separation, space and time of the surplus labor from the necessary labor. Yeah. Yes, Rosa.
So, we're talking about here like individuals, but the serfs are families. So, they're families who live in the Lord's house.
No, in the village is separate from the Lord's house. They don't live in the Lord's house. Oh, no.
Okay. So then, and then the family is the one that...
Yes, I think that's a very, very important point. We should always not be thinking in terms of individuals, but indeed in families. And so in a sense, the family within itself distributes labor here and here. Absolutely. The family is really, I'm talking sloppily by talking about individuals. Really should be talking about families, right? Family is a crucial element of society. Yeah. Right. Yes, Karen.
When you say that the serfs can become the lord and the lords can become the serf, what about in instances where maybe along the way the serf gets money, inherits, or something?
Well, there is. That's a very interesting. In late feudalism, what happens is the serfs begin to engage in what? In exchange in the markets, and they begin to accumulate, and so a whole new class of independent producers emerges, and we'll see references to that in Marx and Engels.
So they wouldn't be considered lords.
They would not be considered lords, but they can indeed enrich themselves and do, and they can form a whole new class of independent producers. Yeah. Very good. Good question. Yes. Any more for any more? Yes, Jessica.
Clarify, is the land separate and separate by space and time? Is it?
Yeah, this is the Lord's land, and then there will be the people's land. Yes. Very good. Terrific. Brilliant. Now, we've really only been talking about the what? The relations of production. Who gets what? From whom? But we haven't talked a lot about who does what. We had a little bit. We had to talk a little bit. We said, in fact, that the serfs work on this land for themselves to produce subsistence, and they work on this land to produce surplus. But how are they going to be organized on this? They're organized customarily in families, as Rosa said over here, but how are they going to be organized here on the Lord's land? Well, when you want to organize work, particularly surplus work, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Well, you want to... It's not for nothing I drew a telescope here. The Lord observing what's going on the Lord's land. But actually the Lord has got an emissary, an agent, and they're called, you probably don't know, but they're called bailiffs. They were in England, bailiffs or overseers, who are basically supervisors, supervising the work on the Lord's land. That's one way in which the work on the Lord's land is bailiffs. Is that how you spell it? B-A-I-L-I-F-F-S? Maybe. That's right. We have authority. You are very amazing people. Yes, bailiffs. They are the supervisors, but there's also something even more interesting. That what happens on the Lord's land happens every year, the same way, the same families have the same obligations, and those obligations are written down in the manorial courts. So people's work, the extra surplus labour here, is actually stipulated in written documents held in the manorial courts. So every year, and that's why in a sense feudalism is seen to be very often a static mode of production. Every year the serfs are always doing the same work, year in, year out. Specific tasks written in the manorial courts, somewhere up here. Manorial courts. The manorial courts. Basically this whole terrain here is called a manor, and the manorial courts are the legal dimension, a legal organization. Anyway, what everybody is obligated to do is written in the manorial courts. It's defined. So people get accustomed to doing the same work every year. So that's feudalism. Very simple. Necessary labor, surplus labor, subsistence, 4 days, rent, 2 days, work on the Lord's land, separated in space and time. Yes, Jane.
Does Marx say how the lords became the lords and how?
Marx, as I say, when it comes to the origins of different modes of production, has actually nothing particularly interesting to say, particularly not interesting about the origins of feudalism, how the whole feudal system worked. But you would have to understand how lords became lords and serfs became serfs. It's a complicated story, and I am actually not equipped to give you even elementary accounts of this. And Marx certainly doesn't talk about that. If he has an origin story, it's an origins of capitalism, as we will see. Yes. Basically, what Marx and Engels, and what I'm using feudalism here, is to try and explicate what the character of capitalism is. We'll come to that in 1 second. Now, okay, let's see if you understand this. Are graduate student instructors, in their relationship to me, serfs or slaves? You've only got those two choices. Serfs or slaves? No slaves! Anybody for slaves? I haven't bought them yet. No, I don't. Very good. I'm delighted to hear this, because I actually don't own them. I would love to sometimes, but I don't actually own them. I don't buy them, I don't sell them. So they're not slaves. Well, the question then is, are they serfs? Are they serfs? In what sense are they serfs? In their relationship to me. In what sense are they serfs? We have the picture of serfs, David. They have to work in my lecture hall. They're doing they're doing nothing here. Yes, well, very good. Okay, we're getting there. Yes, Carol.
They provide a service, like they do discussions.
They provide a service, they do discussions. Yes, they definitely do that. Without those discussions, you would be in deep trouble, kid. Tracy.
They're bound to the university.
They are bound to the university, and the university is me.
The Lord.
I am the Lord and okay, yes, that's right. Interesting. Yes. More. Yes.
They're more like the bailiffs that they stood up.
They're more like the bailiff. So really what's at stake is my relationship to you. You are shifting the terrain of conversation. Very crafty move. Yes. No, I want to stick to my relationship to GSIs. Now that's an interesting question. Am I got a relationship of feudalism to new? No, you are what? In the context of my relationship to GSIs, you are what, Elizabeth? So, yeah, and what are you then? What are you? What are you in this framework? Yes. No. Well, no. What are you in this model here, right? You know, if the GSIs are serfs, what are you? Production. You are the soil. You are the flowers, the plants, the corn, the land. And what are they doing to you, Conrad? They are cultivating. It's an interesting word, cultivating. They're cultivating your cult. It's a fascinating word, an agricultural word that also has, they're civilizing you, cultivating you, right? No, they're educating you. Yes, they are working on you, right? You are the land, the soil. You are being cultivated, yes, up there.
Well, so are they doing their own studies?
Their own studies.
Isn't there graduate work necessary labor in engineering?
Let's have a picture here. Yes, interesting. Okay, we got something called surplus labor here. Rent, surplus labor, and necessary labor. This is feudalism. Here's the Lord, that's me. And here's the university. Oh, yes. My army of retainers, right. Retainers, yes, the army. Just in case you want to escape. Yes, right. No, they want to escape. Yes. All right, so what's going on? What's necessary labor and what's surplus labor here? Greg.
Necessary labor would be like their own studies.
Uh-huh.
And then surplus labor would be, I guess, running, facilitating discussion.
Necessary labor is like also part of facilitating discussion because out of it they're learning to be teachers. They're learning. I mean, they're ultimately working towards their own goal of getting their master's or PhD and hopefully going into teaching.
Teaching doesn't count for anything. It's just pro bono stuff, you know? No, that's an interesting question. An interesting point. Yes. But we do have there, this surplus labor is, what did Greg say? What did you say?
Oh, I said facilitating discussion.
Discussion sections. Katie? Grading papers. Grading papers. Grading. Yeah, what else? Just think of all the things that they do that I should be doing. Office hours. What are they doing there? Emotional consultation. Okay. What else? Well, we've already had tending lectures, boring lectures, tending boredom, attending lectures. Yeah. Anything else? Yes, Rosa?
They help in the research process, your research.
Oh yeah, they do my research for me. Well, not actually in their role as graduate student instructors, but as research assistants, if I'm to be so lucky. But yes, let's stick to their role as graduate student instructors. Yes, Jason?
Don't they not know what the lessons were?
Sometimes, yeah, they argue a lot. All right, assistants in design. Designers. Design. Yeah. Right, well, that's enough. That is, why do I call that surplus labor? And in what sense is it feudalism? What's your name? Christy. Uh-huh.
I thought you couldn't memorize any more names.
Yes, true. I just can't resist. You sit there every time. I must know your name. You have you're like a lord there, a lady. Yes, Christy.
Now I frazzled myself, but
no, I frazzled you.
Their surplus labor doesn't directly benefit them. It's not for their own survival.
It's why it's for mine because, just imagine if I had to do all this. I mean, there would be not much cultivation. There would be a lot of barren land, barren mines. Yes. So, all right, yes, all right. So they are doing it. This is surplus. So what is the necessary labor then? What is the necessary labor, David? Their own classes. Their own classes. And what do you think they're doing? What do you think they're doing? Have a look. Just look at them. What do you think they're doing? What do you think they're here for? Money! Oh! Oh, very good. Become a sociologist because you want money. Hey, yes, I like that.